Madoc. What does this name mean to you? Have you heard of it? For many, this name results in the rolling of the eyes, or a shake of the head in disappointment. To others, they laugh in support, and feel honor and pride in the following information. The story of Madoc can be sensitive, and I do not want to give off the opinion that I am spreading false information. The following story is based primarily in collective memory, meaning this quote-unquote history is based off generations of word of mouth, and for the most part, not a historical fact. But we shouldn't dismiss all collective memory as false. At the end of the day, it is coming from somewhere and it is spoken from the lips of someone's mouth. Anyways, on to the story. Hopefully I made myself clear. Please comment down below your opinions and if you're familiar on the topic. The story of Madoc is one I have loathed to cover. Our story begins in Gwynedd, Wales. The father of the protagonist was the infamous Owen Gwyneth, one of the North Welsh princes, a series of powerful Welsh leaders who exploited the withdrawal of the Roman forces as they filled the power vacuum. These Welsh princes would practically unify Wales and fight off England and the invading Norse. Owain is regarded as one of the most powerful of this lineage, who after his father's death quickly took over territories within modern-day Wales. His bards and subjects regarded him as a great leader. Owain served up until his death in 1170. Owain beat back his Welsh rivals and even Henry II of England. Owain supposedly had 13 children, from multiple wives. Owain's heir, Hywel, feuded with Owain's younger son, Magwyn, Rhodri, and the strong Dafydd. Madoc was one of these children, although no records officially prove this, it is very well plausible. Madoc saw his brothers and the internal fighting within his father's land as the beginning of the end, and so he planned to sail away from the internal fighting. It is important to acknowledge that the following story had already been a Welsh story prior, like a folktale. No information is really given beyond the Welsh story, which tells of a Welsh hero who valiantly sailed the seas. This is one such example where collective memory probably infected a possibly true story, and this is why recording history is so vital in the modern era. There's many times throughout history, such as the Kingdom of Judah versus the Northern Kingdom of Israel, or the Trojan War, where folklore and poor record-keeping of history results in historians and archaeologists throwing away entire stories as false, even if it's very well possible they are based in some sort of fact. Anyways, Madoc, according to the 1584 work History of Cambria by David Powell, says that Madoc left the family fighting and set sail from Landrillo in modern-day Conwy County Borough in Wales. It was a fairly large port town where many of the local princes originated from. His plan was to explore the western oceans, and he left alongside a number of ships and got with men and women who wanted to live in quietness. According to Powell, they brought munitions and sailed towards the west coast of Ireland. They then went far west of Ireland and eventually landed in a place they believed to be Florida. But there is no real evidence to this claim. Author Humphrey Lloyd, in 1559's Chronicles, claims that they settled a colony and returned home for more colonists. On their way back to the colony, they accidentally made their way to Mexico and never came home. Madoc's landing is apparently, everywhere. The following areas they believe he claimed as his landing: Mobile, Alabama; Florida; Newfoundland; Newport, Rhode Island; Yarmouth, Nova Scotia; Virginia; the Gulf of Mexico; the Caribbean; the mouth of the Mississippi; the Yucatan; Panama; West Indies; Bermuda, and even the Amazon. You get my point. Anyways, they apparently settled on the plains of the US, and some believe they founded the Aztecs, Mayan, and Inca civilizations. I hope you now get my disclaimer at the beginning, stating that this is a story full of plot holes and misinformation. A lot of the 13th and 12th century writers talk about a Welsh man setting off on a crazy voyage. Also, some say he was the son of Owain. Overall, there's a lot of talk about there once being this voyager, but there's really no evidence besides vague or scarce documents. There was a resurgence of the story in the 16th century with the establishment of the Spanish and Portuguese minor colonies in the Western Hemisphere. I believe these Welsh stories were pushed in an effort by the Welsh and mostly English kings to push the agenda that they have rightful claim over modern-day North America. The Chronicles of the Welsh Voyage were made 6 decades after Spain landed in the unnamed lands of North America, and often the story and those like it, such as Leif Erikson, are used to justify the colonization of North America. And since they founded it so long ago, that makes the murder more palatable, right? Even today there's towns in Ontario and Georgia recounting that Madoc established towns there. If this is the case, we might as well give up all of North America to the Welsh, since even with a few dozen people they managed to form a Welsh empire. Quote unquote Welsh empire. Makes me feel weird saying that. Anyways, ignore my tangents. There are many recollections of Native Americans speaking Welsh. On November 26, 1608, Captain Christopher Newport found the Monacan people. He informed a notable English politician, John Egerton, that the natives spoke a language that resembled Welsh, and apparently the Welsh speakers on the voyage with Newport spoke with the natives. Also, apparently the Algonquins, a major tribe in North America, refer to the Monacans from modern-day Virginia as the Mandoag. There are a few other accounts of Welsh-speaking natives scattered. Many historians think they are just known hoaxes from long ago. Again, I believe this is just further propaganda by the English to push the "we were the first" agenda, since countries like Spain and France had been eating up swaths of native land and embedding themselves, restricting the Swedes, Brits, Dutch, and others to scramble for anything they could east of the Appalachians. Many items like forts and mines showed signs of foreign intervention. Most were just natives being innovative. The people of that era, quite frankly, underestimated what natives could build. But there's definitely a few scattered East Coast relics that are confusing. Many claim this is evidence of Madoc. On a final note, even Thomas Jefferson claimed to hear of Welsh-speaking natives, and he supposedly believed that the Madoc story, and instructed Lewis and Clark to listen for Welsh-speaking natives. This is probably yet another piece of evidence of just English propaganda, flooding into the mainstream knowledge. I don't want to blame this solely on England though. This is common for many countries of the era. Most quote-unquote evidence is grasping for straws. Many historians view this story as a myth, and just part of the propaganda piece that got a little too involved into the mainstream. Overall, if you believe the Madoc story, that is fair. But make sure to take the historical implications into account. Britain and Spain were contesting over North America. There was free claim over North America. And on the losing side, it seems the English wanted some sort of justification, and Madoc was just the most evident story they could reignite. In conclusion, sorry this is sort of a downer. History has been wrong before, so there's always a chance. But like everything, the story was hijacked for hundreds of years and stretched and pulled to fit a certain narrative, leaving a stretched out mess of a story. I hope you enjoyed this unique story, and sorry for the break. I am still alive, just in college. I found this simple and just something I found interesting. Hopefully no Welsh people get too upset. You have every right to believe Madoc. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. Thanks.